All right. All right, let's get to it tonight. For those that are joining new or um, after the fact, we're going to talk a little bit. We'll do a guided meditation. Not really sure in which order. I always take, hi, is that Michael Chin I see? Oh my gosh, it's so nice to see your name. Can you guys hear me okay? All right. I wanted to talk tonight about control, but is there something you guys needed to talk about? Something you wanted answered, something you needed questions on, anything? Thank you for responding. Good evening. Hi, everybody. Yeah, so how are you guys feeling tonight? Is there something you wanted to talk about? Otherwise, let's talk about control. And control meaning the control we have over our lives versus not someone controlling us or not controlling us, right? Let's talk about this 50-50 co-creator concept and what that means for us, okay? So I'm just waiting for some of you guys are jumping on to YouTube. Some of you guys are jumping on Instagram. So I'm just kind of waiting for people to join here. We're going to do a guided meditation and we're going to talk about whatever it is that Spirit wants us to talk about tonight. Some of that will be specific to control, and some of it will see what comes up after our meditation. I wanted to talk about control because I just noticed with my clients, with my life, for some reason this week, there was a lot of stuff coming up that put us in this position of what kind of control do we have over our life and what kind of control don't we have? And what do we do with that part that we don't have control over? What do we do? I mean, on one hand, there's nothing you do, but there is a way to learn how to live with it so that it's not so scary and it's a little bit more understood and manageable. I had this one client who had she's going through a really big move, different state, and for the first time in her life, and with her significant other and some other family members, and she has this kind of looming situation over her that has to do with the IRS in the state. And I don't know the details, but it sounds like it doesn't allow her to leave the California for whatever reason. And she chose to not take that into consideration with the move and instead take blind faith uh, and just put out there to the universe what it was that she wanted. She wanted to make this move and she wanted it to be a certain way and look a certain way. And so she took that leap and it uh, bit her in the butt a little bit. And so she was really upset and trying to figure out what happened and why. And we had to go over this understanding that we're 50-50 co-creators, right? So we have our role, we can do what we can do, and then that's it. Then there's 50% of what's out of our control, right? What others do, what the universe has in store, all of that. But what we can do is we can acknowledge the part we can't control to a certain degree. We can acknowledge that this thing is existing and what does that look like and what are we going to do with it. So for example, this person is now faced with not being able to she was all packed and hadn't left the state yet, and she was leaving in a week, and she's looking at now maybe not being able to go. And what does that mean? She's already put in her 30-day notice at her job, at her apartment, and set the moving vans up and all of that, right? And so she's like, why is this happening to me? What is this? And the truth is, this is happening because there was a denial of that existence, and blind faith is appropriate in certain times, and sometimes blind faith isn't the appropriate step. Sometimes there has to be an awareness of what could happen, right? That this thing is looming over her head and it needs to be addressed. And so if this thing happens and I can't leave, what am I going to do? And she said, well, isn't that showing signs of weakness? Isn't that showing that I'm giving too much power to negativity or to what I don't want? And I said, it's actually the opposite, because you're taking the fear out of it. So you're taking the control out of it. Instead, you're saying, okay, I have two roads that I'm staring down right now. One is the road that I want to create, and one is this other road that is out of my hands and could create something very different for me. And this other road that is out of your hands, there are things you can do to acknowledge it and to make it more uh, easier to manage, right? So you have a plan. You have a plan. And blind faith isn't the plan. And she was surprised to hear that coming from someone who, like myself, who teaches what I teach and, practices what I practice. And I think one of the biggest misnomers in the world of spirituality is the tangible behavior and attitudes and actions that have to be taken in order to be co-creator with the universe. The tangible things that are sometimes hard, and or maybe sometimes feel like we are, I don't know, maybe in her case, it was losing control, feeling like she wasn't thinking positively, which, some of you have heard me discuss this whole concept of thinking positive. And, thinking positive is important, but it doesn't blind us from the other side, right? It doesn't blind us to the other side. It is there when we know both sides, and then we say, okay, I'm going to choose to continue down this road of positivity or faith, because I think ultimately those two are the same. And that positivity and faith isn't everything's going to work out the way I want it to, everything's going to work out in my favor. That positivity and faith is what? Believing in the unknown. Faith is trusting that there's a divine order that exists. And we tend to uh look to the divine order. We tend to look to trust and faith, either when things have gone well or we have a feeling things are going to go well. And it's easy to have that blind faith, right? And sometimes we go to it when things are so bad, it's the only option. And what I'm asking her and us and myself to do is to have that trust and that knowing and understanding, even in the mundane, and especially when things aren't going our way, quote unquote, right? Especially then. And yeah, Beverly's saying everything happens for a reason. I 100%, but sometimes that sentence is not what we want to hear in times of struggle and suffering, right? Because it's like everything happens for a reason is something that has to be understood from a gut level. It can't, and I'm not saying, Beverly, you don't. I'm just building off of what you're saying. Everything happens for a reason is something that has to be understood at a gut level. It's like faith and trust. Faith and trust have no object. Faith and trust we just have. And And that's a gut level of faith and trust. But more importantly, the nuanced faith and trust is that I trust everything is in divine order, and that divine order isn't always going to be in what I believe is my favor, right? And that's what's most important here, because when we understand that when things don't go the way we think or want them to, there's got to be this depth of everything is still in divine order. So, where does that put me? I'm feeling all these emotions because something has turned out differently than what I hoped, what I wanted, what I expected. So, what does that mean for me? And that right there, that moment is no different than getting a divorce or losing a job or going through a death or whatever, or an illness, right? Because in that moment, you're realizing that you're being asked to change. You're being asked to see things, experience things differently, right? And with that request of seeing things differently, we change if we heed the call, right? Can the other 50% be influenced, or is it just predetermined and you work with it? Oh, Michael Chin, you asked a doozy of a question. I want to sit with that for a minute before I answer that. So the question is, can the other 50% be influenced, or is it just predetermined and you work with it? I want to answer that from a intuitive space, so hold on. Sometimes, sometimes, sometimes it's predetermined. Sometimes it's not. This is why we talk about choosing and living a conscious life, because that right there, the difference, that sliver of, is that 50% predetermined and I can't change it, or can I influence it? That right there requires such clarity, such balance, such intuition, such awareness, and such a disconnect from that grip of human embodiment, that ability to let go and not be entangled in human emotions and the brain. And it requires a complete connection to spirit in that moment. And so when you're faced with this question, because you have something barreling down at you that feels overwhelming and feels like it's happening to you and feels like you don't have control over it, your emotions are heightened, your fear and anxiety is heightened. And the only place you can go is within, which is technically inward and upward. Because for every situation and for every person, the answer to that question you asked, Michael, is different. For every situation in your life, for every moment in your life, the answer to that question is different. And this is why I preach the necessity of conditioning the body and the mind and the spirit every single day. You are conditioned for that moment. That moment that you're asking about, Michael, that moment to determine in your life if something is predetermined or if I have the ability to influence and change it, that right there requires you to be conditioned. It's like the marathon, the Olympic runner who doesn't train a day in their life and then expects to be ready to run at the Olympics. They condition and train and condition and train. So for that one day when they race, they're ready. That one race they're ready for. And when we condition and train and condition and train with our meditation, our yoga, our exercise, our therapy when we need it, and our healthy diet, moving towards a plant-based diet, when we do that every day and we are conditioning ourselves and conditioning ourselves and conditioning ourselves, when we are in that moment where something is barreling down on us, we've conditioned for that moment. And so we go into our meditation and we have conditioned ourselves so much that we can drop into that meditation, even through tears, even through fear, even through anxiety, even through doubt. And we can experience and feel and get the answer to that question. And the answer may not be black and white. Probably it won't be. It will be more of a showing you what's next for you to move through what's being asked of you. Hmm. What do you think of that, Michael? That was good. That was really good. Any questions or comments? If not, let's go into meditation. For anyone that's new, get comfortable, lay down, lean against the couch, make yourself really comfortable. Don't force the body to sit upright. Allow the body to be completely at ease, okay? 3 releasing breaths. Deep inhale through the nose, exhale, blow it out. Closing the eyes. Allowing the body to totally let go. Just for a moment, listening to the breath, listening to my voice, and allowing the body to grow heavy, allowing the body to sink into the earth. And relaxing the shoulders, wiggling the fingers and the toes to make sure they're relaxed, relaxing the forehead, making sure the eyes aren't clenched tight, but just simply closed, allowing the cheekbones to totally relax and release. The jaw will let go. Allow the belly to expand big on the inhale and the exhale. Allowing the belly to be completely at ease. Notice if the belly is tight, let it go. Notice if the belly doesn't expand much on the inhale. Notice if the belly completely releases on the exhale. Allow the heart and the lungs to feel a sense of ease. Just allow the hips and the pelvis to sink into the earth, the thighs and the legs to let go. Allowing the body to grow heavy, allowing the body to be at ease. Bringing the attention to the bottom of the spine, the sit bones, the tailbone. Feeling the spine and the tailbone move deep into the center of the earth, locking you in, holding you, allowing the body to sink deeper into the earth. Feeling the energy of the sit bones of the spine run deep into the center of the earth. Feeling yourself blending, connecting, communicating with the earth. And feeling how the body feels sturdy, grounded, rooted. And the earth holds you. Just take a few breaths here. Now I want you to feel the energy moving up the spine. You're going to stay rooted and connected, but you're also going to start lifting the energy up and out the top of the head. So we're rooted, grounded, connected to the earth, and we're lifted up into the cosmos. So feeling, seeing, imagining the energy run up the spine and shoot out the top of the head, lifting you up. Feeling what it feels like to be rooted, held by gravity. And then at the same time, feeling the levity of the cosmos as the energy runs up the spine and shoots out the top of the head, moving so far up. All you can do is feel where it's going. Inhale the energy from the earth. Exhale, push it up the spine and out into the cosmos. Inhale the energy up from the center of the earth. Exhale, push it out into the cosmos. Inhale the energy from the center of the earth. Exhale, push it out into the cosmos. Allow the body to grow soft, still, feeling the breath deepen, feeling the belly and the breath move together. Wherever you're at, blow all the air out. We're going to inhale for a count of 6 through the lips. So we inhale through the lips for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the lips for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the lips for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, inhale through the lips for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the lips for 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, inhale through the lips for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the lips for 4, 3, 2, 1. Allow the breath to move at its own pace. Just be in the stillness for a moment. Allowing yourself to just be still. Before we come out of this meditation, I want you to go to your third eye. There's a star there that's waiting for you. It's white. It's bright. And I just want you to take a moment and see, feel, imagine this star that's sitting right in front of you. Why is it there? The answer may not come tonight, but just sit with that. See the star, feel the star, imagine the star. Why is that star there for you? The answer may not come tonight. See it, feel it, imagine it, hear it. You're rooted in your gravity. You're lifted in your levity. And right in the middle is this star. Waits for you, responds to you, calls out to you, speaks to you. Who is that star for you? Don't put a name or a gender or anything to it. Just experience it. Just for a few minutes, stay here and experience this. And when you're ready, gently open the eyes. And I just want you to sit still for a moment, just being really comfortable with the quiet, just allowing the calm and the quiet with the eyes open to be good for you, comfortable for you. If anyone has any questions, otherwise I'm going to pull a couple cards for you. You're welcome to share your experience. You don't have to. For those that are interested, in 1 hour, I'll be live again doing some paranormal work on Myth or Mystery. It's a really fun show, very light, very fun, very inspirational, educational, all kinds of stuff. So the cards that we're pulling tonight for those that are watching live and watching after is one is remembrance. That's going to mean something different for all of you. What does that card feel like for you? Remembrance. For some of you, it might be remembering literally experiences in your life that you need to work through or that bring up something for you. But for a lot of you, it's remembering who you are, not who you are with the name and the gender and the body, but who you are without all of that. Who you are as a conscious being that travels through lifetimes and through bodies, through different planets. For some of you, that remembrance is about healing. For some of you, that remembrance is transformational. Remembering who you are as a conscious being first, without this body, is transformational for all of us. And then the whispers are the intuition and the guidance and the knowing that you carry that can get washed away with the noise of life, right? So just being with this, being with these cards, being with this experience, allow it to be what it is for you. It'll be different for all of us. Journal about it. Remember the 5 steps to consciousness. So in those moments in your life when you are barreling down on some big life choices or changes, or feeling like life is overwhelming you and handing you something that you didn't expect or want, or whatever that is, that you can get in between and get into the silence. So getting in between the emotions, getting in between the emotions and the experience into that silence to see, what am I supposed to be doing with this, if anything? And sometimes it's not time for the answer. Sometimes that answer takes time. But do the work. 5 steps. Daily meditation, non-negotiable. Exercise, yoga a few times a week. And remember, exercise does not need to be intense. It just needs to keep that physical body healthy. Yoga, so that you can continue to release all that we acquire energetically and emotionally every minute of every day. And a healthy plant-based diet. Plant-based diet, make those changes over time, slowly. So maybe just 1 meal each week is plant-based. And we do that slowly and over time. And as we slowly condition ourselves every day, that inner voice, that silence, that whisper of intuition starts to lead us, starts to become a little bit louder, clearer, especially during the hard times, right? Good work tonight, you guys. I will try and be back next week the same time. Maybe I'll see some of you guys in about an hour for Myth or Mystery, and we'll have a lot of fun there. Thank you.